So today I'm going to be going over the best PvP kits inside of Roblox Bedwars so you know what the best PvP kits are in the game. And if you guys do want a free kit or a battle pass for yourself, all you have to do is drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below your favorite part of this video. Anyways guys, for the first best PvP kit, I thought I would mention the Leon kit because this kit is actually an incredibly underrated kit. Now, if you guys don't know what the Leon kit does, basically you get these swords around your character, which you can use to do a couple different abilities. You can either use his ultimate ability, which throws all three swords on the ground and applies fire 1 to the enemy, or you can actually just individually throw the sword at your opponents within a certain distance. Now, the thing that I really like about this kit, to be honest, is that I can actually stop people from regenning without having to buy a bow or a gloop, and I can do it at the very start of the game. This sword damage actually mimics the sword that you've bought in the shop as well, which is a really nice touch, and if you pair them with the damage upgrades, it becomes pretty powerful. This isn't really a very good late game, it is more of a start and mid-game kit because of the excessive damage that it does, and you can get a crazy edge over your opponents since you have a maximum of 3 swords. It's also good at wiping out multiple opponents at once because of the sword ultimate ability where it throws all of the 3 swords down at once. It actually does splash damage. It is very difficult to use though, so be wary of that. This is definitely not the best kit on this list by any means, but I reckon the number one will definitely surprise you. Anyways guys, the next best PvP kit that I thought I would mention is the Yumiko kit. Now this kit again is another incredibly underrated kit because of its shuriken thing that you can actually buy in the shop. Now it's actually very similar to swords, it's very similar pricing. However, you actually keep the shurikens forever and they do almost the exact same amount of damage as their sword counterparts. Now the Yumiko kit, if you guys don't know what this kit does, you can actually buy a shuriken in the shop for relatively cheap to start off with, and you can basically use it as an extra ranged attack. Now it sort of is like a miniature bow essentially, but if you pair this with the sword at the beginning of the game, it is very powerful because you can get a couple extra hits off of your opponents, especially if you tower up, and they're not going to be able to hit you. Another really overpowered thing about the Yumiko kit as well is if you get hit, you become invisible temporarily, which really throws off your opponents, especially if they don't know where they're looking. If you get hit once, it'll definitely distort your opponents and you'll definitely get a nice PvP advantage over your opponents, which is why I put the Yumiko kit on this list. It's definitely not the first thing that people think of when they think of the best PvP kit, but in my opinion, if you utilize this kit correctly, it could be one of the best kits in the game. Now, another really overpowered PvP kit that I really wanted to touch up on, I feel like this definitely deserves to be on this list, that is the Caitlyn kit. The Caitlyn kit, again, is another very overpowered kit, but probably not for the reason that you're thinking of. This kit isn't technically that great inside of like solos or duos for that matter, but in squads and the win streak 1v1 game mode, it's actually a very good kit. Basically, if you guys don't know what this kit does, with the Caitlyn kit, you get these contracts which you can assign yourself, and when you complete the contracts by eliminating your opponents, your decay effect that you get at the start of the game actually becomes a lot stronger, and with each time that you hit your opponents, it applies the decay effect. So if I get a couple contracts finished, my decay effect might last longer, it might do even more damage, or it might have extra armor penetration. All of those things are definitely very overpowered, and if you're good at hitting your enemies constantly with either the bow or the sword, the tick damage can be very overpowered. Now, this is actually a pretty underrated kit in the win streak 1v1 game mode because, yeah, there's literally only one opponent. So as long as you get the first couple kills on your opponents, if you're playing against someone who's really sweaty, you can get a pretty nice advantage over them by doing extra damage. It's honestly a kit that I don't see used too often, probably because it is quite old, but at the same time, it is still one of the best PvP kits in the game if you are able to use it correctly. The one downside I will mention though to this kit is you definitely need to be completing your contracts. If you're not completing your contracts, you only get the very basic decay effect, and yeah, that's not too great. You definitely want to be upgrading your contracts and decay effect. All right, we're stepping it up a little bit. We've gone through 3 of the best PvP kits in Roblox Bedwars, but this one is definitely worth paying attention to, and that is the Naza kit. Now, the Naza kit was actually released this season for the Season 11 Battle Pass, and it is definitely one of the best PvP kits in the game, as well as the next kit that I'm going to be talking about as well. Now, basically, the Naza kit is a pretty straightforward and complicated kit at the exact same time. Basically, you cannot regenerate health with this kit, but you gain 2 abilities. You have a power-up ability, and you have a regen ability. Now, with the power-up ability, you get extra damage with your sword. It's like 5 extra damage or something like that. It is actually pretty good. Basically, it just turns a wooden wooden sword into a stone sword at the start of the game. And you also get a life regen effect. Basically, when you use the ability, you can heal up to maximum 30 HP at any time. It is very, very overpowered, especially in a game mode like solos or duos, where you're constantly going to be fighting opponents. Another couple side abilities that this kit also has is you have unlimited arrows, essentially. Basically, instead of having arrows and buying arrows, you just give up a little bit of HP every time you shoot. However, if you get like diamond armor and a bunch of armor protection and stuff like that, you're going to actually just make it very, very ineffective. And since you have a purple bar, which you need to use and power up your abilities, if you're actually consistently hitting your shots, it shouldn't even matter because you'll just be able to heal up instantly. Now, be wary because there is one massive counter to this kit, which is the static enchant. Now, if your opponent has the static enchant and is applying the static enchant to you, your healing effects basically become nil. Like, they just don't exist anymore. So that's definitely something you need to watch out. If your opponent has static, yeah, you're basically kind of screwed. But very rarely does your opponents usually have static in a game like solos or duos, because it's very rare that people actually spend 80 iron to get the chance of rolling static. It's usually quite uncommon unless you're making it to the later stages of the game. Definitely something to be wary of. Now let's move on to the next best PvP kit inside of Roblox Bedwars, and that is the Kaida kit. Now this kit has actually become a part of the ranked meta recently, and I can definitely see why. This kit, honestly, I was trashing on this kit when it first released, but it has definitely proved me wrong. This kit is very overpowered. Basically, if you guys don't know what the Kaida kit does, it is sort of similar to the Barbarian, to be honest. But instead of getting a sword, it's replaced with a dragon's claw. And basically, it has a longer range but slower hit speed. And you upgrade your sword by actually using your dragon summon ability, which does a little bit of damage and charges up your ability. Now, once you actually complete the tier to upgrade your sword, you keep it forever. But if you do end up dying, you lose all of the percentages that you would have gone towards your next sword. Now, this definitely isn't a very good solos kit, to be honest, but I can definitely see this being useful in 5v5s, squads, or duos, because the Dragon's Claw actually does splash damage. You can actually hit multiple opponents at the exact same time, and you can also hit your opponents through walls, which is probably one of the best things about this kit. I wouldn't have put this kit on this list if you couldn't hit your opponents through walls, because they literally cannot hit you. They cannot do anything about it. They just have to stand back and hope that you're not able to hit them. And that is why I put it on this list, all right? Because even if you absolutely suck at the game, your enemies are not going to be able to touch you if you're hitting them through walls. So if you have the Season 11 Battle Pass, you definitely have two of the best PvP kits inside of Roblox Bedwars. Another one of the best PvP kits inside of Roblox Bedwars that we're going to be going through is the Xeno Wizard kit. Now, even though this is classed as a ranged kit, this is still a very, very powerful fighting kit. Basically, guys, if you don't know what the Xeno Wizard kit does, you get this wizard staff which you can use to zap your opponents. It applies a static enchant, and it's also a direct counter to the NASA kit. You can actually upgrade your wizard staff to get different kinds of abilities and stronger zaps. Pair this with damage upgrades and you're laughing, dude. If you can get past the one downside, which I'll talk about later on, then this kit in solos and duos and squads is definitely a really good kit. You can also hit multiple opponents at the exact same time, which makes this kit even better. Definitely more of a team kit though. I don't see this being regularly used in solos. But honestly, the one big downside to this kit is that instead of a wooden sword, you start off with a stick. And that's how you know this kit was crazy overpowered, because they needed to nerf it that badly. Basically, if you guys don't know what the stick item is, it's just a worse wooden sword. Instead of 20 damage, it does 10 damage, which is absolutely wild. And the stone sword costs 40 iron, which is absolute scam, by the way. It's not even half the price of an iron sword. It is just a complete scam. But if you can actually just get past the first initial nerf that this kit has, then you'll be laughing for the rest of the round, because it is very, very overpowered for the rest of the game. With all of your different abilities, you can zap your opponents constantly, get constant damage off of them, stop them from regenerating health, and also directly counter the NASA kit. I'm sure you guys can tell that this is a very powerful kit. I would definitely recommend using this in squads though. That way, you're able to utilize this kit's ability to its full potential by zapping multiple enemies and blasting them into the void with its different unique abilities. Definitely one of my favorite kits in all of Roblox Bedwars, and still one of the best kits in the game. Anyways, guys, for the next best PvP kit that we're going to be talking about, I feel like it would be an absolute shame if I didn't put the Uzi kit on this list, because honestly, the Uzi kit is such a classic. This kit hasn't been touched in ages, so it's definitely a future-proof kit, and it's also one of the best movement / PvP kits in all of Roblox Bedwars. Basically, if you guys don't know what the Uzi kit does, the Uzi kit replaces your sword with a Deo, and basically you get 4 dashes with this kit. You can boost yourself forward and do some extra dash damage and also dash forward. It is a perfect mix of a mobility and a fighter kit, and it is very overpowered when used correctly. It's definitely more of a solos, duos, and win streak 1v1 kit though, because of its very short use range. But if you can utilize the dash ability correctly, not only are you going to be able to get a really sweet advantage over your opponents, you're actually going to be able to do extra damage to them if you're able to hit them through the wall, as well as confuse them because you'll just dash right behind them. And if you do a 360 spin around and you can just start smacking them up like crazy, it is very, very powerful. Although this is one of the best movement slash fighter kits in the game, it definitely comes with its fair share of downsides. For starters, the Deos actually cost slightly more than their sword counterparts, and this kit can be easily countered with the gloop item. But as long as your enemies don't have the gloops, then your kit is very, very much usable. You can use this to cycle around middle, dash into opponents, or just run away from enemies. It is a very good versatile kit, probably one of the best for solos in the game. It's definitely a kit that a lot of people probably already have, and I can see why, because it's literally one of the best PvP kits in the game. So if you don't already have the Uzi kit, it's definitely something I would recommend buying with Fed coins, to be honest, because yeah, it's just one of the best kits in the game. It's definitely not a bad choice if you pick up the Uzi kit. Alrighty guys, now we're entering into the top 3 territory, and this is definitely going to be a super controversial list, alright? This is going to be my personal top favorite 3 PvP kits inside of Roblox Bedwars, and I've also tried to mix in a lot of popular opinions as well. But yeah, for number 3 on this list, we have the Evelyn kit. Now, the Evelyn, I think is technically classed as a movement kit, but it's definitely used more as a PvP kit. Basically, guys, if you don't know what the Evelyn kit does, it's very self-explanatory. After getting a couple hits off of your opponents, you get this orb which you can teleport to, and it gives you extra shield and extra movement. You can use this kit to do a multitude of outplays, and you can also use it to run away from your opponents or just get an extra edge on them at the start of the game. The Evelyn kit is definitely one of my favorite solos kits because yeah, I can basically use the orb ability to not only get an edge over my opponents in the first PvP fight, but if an enemy is really far away from me, I can actually use my bow to bow them a couple times and actually teleport right onto them. It's just a very cheap and easy way to teleport directly to my opponents and surprise attack them, and most of the time they don't even expect it. Again, another downside that this kit poses that, like many of the other kits pose as well, is that if you use a gloop with this kit, then you just cannot teleport to your enemies at all with the orb, making this kit completely useless, which is why I haven't put it higher on this list. But yeah, the Evelyn kit, definitely one of my favorite kits in the game, and definitely is another very popular kit that a lot of people like to use, and I can see why. It's definitely one of the best PvP kits in the game, in my personal opinion at least. Anyways, guys, for number 2 on this list, okay, this is going to be an absolutely crazy one, and I'm gonna have to let you guys hear me out on this one, okay? But yeah, for number 2 for the best PvP kit inside of Roblox Bedwars is the Talia kit. Now, this kit has to be one of the best PvP kits inside of Roblox Bedwars, and I'm going to tell you guys why, okay? Basically, this is a very self-explanatory kit, alright? The Talia kit, you get a fiery punch ability after dealing a little bit of damage to your opponents, and it forces them to get knocked back, and it also does just a little bit of damage to them. However, why I like this kit so much is because the fiery punch ability actually does damage to the blocks around the player, and it also sends them forcefully into the void if you can time your punch correctly. This kit is very, very overpowered because it throws your enemies off completely, and it also does a pretty moderate amount of damage. The fiery punch actually also mimics the amount of damage that your sword does. So if you have a diamond sword, your fiery punch ability is going to do even more damage. Now pair that with damage upgrades and you've got yourself a sweet ability to deal to your opponents. This is a very basic kit, and I don't know why I don't see many people using this kit more often. There's literally no counter to this kit, and as long as you're getting in sword fights all of the time, then you can always use this kit's ability. It's also really good at fending off multiple opponents as well, because you can use this ability on multiple opponents. Send them both into the void, and yeah, you'll be laughing, dude. I would definitely recommend using the Kalia kit because it is a very overpowered solos kit. Anyways, guys, for number 1 on this list, all right, we have the Ares kit. The Ares kit literally is the best PvP kit in all of Roblox Bedwars, all right? Hands down, one of the best kits in the game. Basically, guys, if you don't know what the Ares kit does, every time you kill your opponents, you actually get a slight damage buff to your sword, where I constantly get stacks over my opponents and just absolutely destroy them. Because the damage difference is so big that there is literally a no counter to it. After you get maybe 10 to 15 kills, you can do a sizable amount of damage to your opponents without even needing to upgrade your sword. Even though this kit got slightly nerfed a while ago where you lose 10% of your stacks after dying, as long as you don't die, which you won't with this kit if you get enough kills, it is literally like a non-nerf, to be honest. Like, it's not even really a nerf as long as you don't die. You can use this kit effectively solo in solos, squads, 30v30, basically any game mode that has more than one person. You can use this kit to the best of its abilities. Pair this again with something like Lifesteal, where it gives you health back for the amount of damage that you do, and it is very, very OP. I would definitely recommend using the Ares kit if you have it. It definitely is the best PvP kit in the game. Another side thing as well is that the health reduction of the Ares kit is also 90 HP instead of 100, which is honestly a non-nerf again. Like, these nerfs are basically not even nerfs because of how powerful this kit is, all right? I would just completely ignore those. As long as you're not dying all the time and as long as you're pretty good at PvP, you'll be absolutely destroying your opponents.